What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're taking a look at The Invisible Ray, starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. The story of The Invisible Ray is simple. Boris Karloff plays this scientist known as Dr. Yohash Ruka, who comes into contact with a meteor. When he's exposed to the rays of said meteor, it gives off this. He's exposed to this element known as radium X. Because he's now exposed to this element, it causes his skin to glow in the dark, and it makes his touch basically decay. Like when he touches you, you basically will die. So yeah, that is the overall story of The Invisible Ray. Let's talk about it. Overall, I thought this was an okay science fiction horror movie. To tell you the truth, I think a good chunk of this movie is kind of slow and kind of boring in a lot of areas. However, this movie does have some positives for me. Lugosi and Karloff in the roles of Dr. Yohash and Dr. Felix, the two scientists that come into contact with Radium X, I thought they were really good in their roles. I thought Boris Karloff comes across really well as a sympathetic villain, as he always does. Just look to his role as Frankenstein. I enjoyed him in this movie. But what makes the character of Dr. Janosch interesting, to me at least, is that he's not a mad scientist in the traditional sense. No, he's a mad scientist that has a family. He's a mad scientist who has a really good relationship, who has a special relationship with his mother. Like you want to root for Yohash, for your Dr. Yohash to win. Not only that, you wish that he can triumph over the madness that takes over him once he's exposed to radium X. And that to me is all Boris Karloff's performance. His performance in this movie I thought was quite good. Bela Lugosi, on the other hand, as Dr. Felix, I thought he was fine in the role as well. He and Yohash kind of have like a little bit of a rivalry going on, but I think that the character of Dr. Felix was very much underutilized, and I think the movie could have been more interesting if both Yohash and Felix were both exposed to radium X. And pretty much the entire movie is them just trying to one-up one another, with one guy using it for greed and the other guy using it for a cure. I mean, the movie does have that in the overall, but I think it would have been more interesting if they both had the power of the globe. I think that would make for a much more interesting, more entertaining movie. But for what it is, I thought Lugosi was overall fine in the role that he's in. The overall supporting cast in this movie is okay. I thought all the actors did a fine job. There's some stilted acting here and there from some of the cast members. Even Boris Karloff has moments where his acting can be a little bit just janky in a lot of areas. But for the most part, I thought the supporting cast was okay. Some story elements in this movie. There's this love triangle that takes place between this guy named Drake and Johan and his wife. I thought that was just bleh. Didn't really find it to be quite necessary and just there to be added drama. Especially when you get to the third act of the movie, when Yohash goes on his revenge spree. Didn't really need it. Didn't really care for it. It kind of takes up too much time of the movie. I mean, this movie is about 70 minutes long, but good chunks of it can run really, really slow. It's like Boris Karloff doesn't get exposed to the meteorite till like a half hour in. It's like, yeah, this movie kind of moves at a snail's pace, and it really drags its feet in a lot of areas. Even when Karloff is exposed to the meteorite, this movie still drags its feet. It still drags in a lot of areas. Like, this movie can be really boring in a lot of areas. But as a horror movie, you do have some genuine scenes that can be very creepy and are well directed. As a science fiction movie, I think the special effects in this movie are really good for a 1936 film. I thought the special effects looked really, really good. I like the use of I like the camera tricks about how the recreation of the meteorite striking Earth in the one scene. I thought that was really well done. I like the overall effect of how they made Boris Karloff glow in the dark. I thought that looked cool as well. So on paper and in concept, this movie does have a lot of good things going for it. Like, it does have some genuine good fundamentals. You have an overall solid cast. You have a very interesting and intriguing premise. I just think that the execution could have been done much, much better than what it really was. And at the end of the day, you get a movie to me that is just all right. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but if I were to compare this movie to, let's say, The Black Cat or The Raven, I will gladly take those two movies over this movie. Those two movies go at a breakneck pace, but they're very entertaining. This movie does not have a breakneck pace, and it does drag its feet in a lot of areas until you get to like the last, I don't know, 10 minutes where it actually starts to get interesting. And when Yano starts to put his revenge scheme into motion, that's where the movie picks up its. That's where the movie, to me, picks up its pace, and it pretty much holds that pace till you get to the climax of the movie, where he comes to his senses after having an altercation with his mother, and he pretty much, kills himself because he let the madness take over him. So that was kind of his redemption arc. So yeah. And also, I kind of like the exotic shoots when they're in Africa, which is where the meteor lands. I thought that was pretty cool. Getting into like a rural type of area. It had a nice exotic feel and exotic look to it, and I appreciate that. Especially for a Universal Studios movie made at this time where everything was done on backlots. It's profession that you actually get to see the outdoors in a more like foresty type of area. So yeah, that was pretty cool for what it was. Okay, yeah, so yeah, those are my thoughts on The Invisible Ray. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a solid 5 out of 10. I think it's okay. It's nothing bad. It's nothing all that great. But it does have some genuine good things in it, and it does have the basic fundamentals of an overall decent movie. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.